Hi Virgo, welcome to your mid-January 2019 love reading. It's Rena here. Oh my goodness. 4 out of 5 cards are major arcana cards. What's up with that? Your love life at the moment is represented by the Three of Pentacles. Before I continue, I just want to say that this reading is intended for people who are single and looking, and people who are in relationships that are troubled. And I'm looking at, I'm going to have to check this out, if any of you know, if you're an expert in the Rider-Waite deck. I'm looking at this woman who is, they look like a couple. It almost looks like they're getting married, but it looks like she's holding something in her, I don't know if that's a child or that's getting baptized, because 1 + 1 = 3, so this can be, you know, that number 3 is about fertility. To think of the major arcana 3 of the Empress, the mother. So this could be, if we look at the Tower card in the past position, this could be an unplanned pregnancy. This could be also for you finding out that your partner has impregnated somebody else. You know, that does happen. If you're single, even if you're single, you could find out that you're pregnant. That if you're not in a relationship, but you're pregnant by someone from the past or whatever. But the other meaning of this card is simply, you know, with the Tower card, it could be love at first sight, and maybe it's with an earth sign. Maybe it's with a co-worker. 3 of Pentacles could be a co-worker. Earth signs, Taurus, your sign, Virgo, Capricorn. This can also be a situation. Now, this is supposed to be your current status, the 3 of Pentacles. So it can be a situation where you realize now, based upon a shocking ending to a relationship in the past, perhaps, although I don't think this would be very long ago. With the past position, I don't know if it should be just recent past or forever past, but you might be more, if you're single, you might be saying to yourself, I want a stable relationship because I was in a relationship with somebody that I couldn't count on, and it didn't end well. So this is what I'm looking for. And maybe you have your eye on someone. Maybe there's somebody that you are interested in who meets those qualifications. Whether or not you're in that relationship, we shall see. Maybe some of you are that are still single. You have met somebody and you feel like, hey, I think that this has something to offer me permanently, not just temporarily. And so then we have here the challenge position, the Hierophant, which is connected to Taurus. So that's an earth sign. In the challenge position, it can be that you are excessively conformist, that for some reason, maybe it is because something happened in the past that was very unsettling, and so that has made you more conservative, more cautious. And maybe, let's say, there was a relationship that you had where you were not married and the other person left you, and you thought to yourself, if only we had been married, that would have never happened. Or if only our relationship was more stable, that would have never happened. And one thing that I want to suggest with this Hierophant card is that even though I have drawn it in the upright position, and that because of the nature of that particular placement, it's going to be read as a challenge. So even in the reversed position in this case. And so it might be like if there is some kind of a pregnancy, you might feel like you have to get married to somebody because it's scandalous not to. Or even though I'm kind of being facetious, in the United States at least, I know that I'm going to be people from all over the world are going to watch this, but in the United States, it's not scandalous to have a child out of wedlock anymore. I mean, it's par for the course, you know, in some cases. But you may still be, even in the United States, you may have been brought up that that's wrong. And so you have to decide with the Three of Pentacles whether that person really is really like somebody that you can count on, because they might not be. And even if you are pregnant and you plan to carry the pregnancy, or if you have impregnated somebody and you want to be an active parent in that child's life, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily well suited for that other person. And the Hierophant is about tradition, about the religious dogma, maybe. Let me see. I'm just a little bit curious. I have my trusty book. I don't always have it in front of me. See how it's got all these stains on it because I've consulted it so much over the years. It's a really great book. I'm just curious what another key word is for this card, because I have a feeling that there's more to the story. That's what I like about this when they talk about the keywords and phrases. Oh yeah, you know, just about spiritual growth, and but I'm looking at it in terms of, oh, it's interesting. One of the things he says is Jung's process of persona identification, the adoption of a social mask. Yes, I mean, and that kind of goes along with that, an official ceremony. So there can be now, so let's look at that Tower card again and what that represents in comparison to the Three of Pentacles. I mean, it couldn't be a starker contrast. You have something unexpected, maybe something unwanted, and yet something that is what we would say solid and actually just doing things the right way. And so if we take an attitude about how we conduct ourselves in life, and the Hierophant could be that kind of philosophical or ethical framework. You might think, you know something, I want to prevent the Tower from happening, so I'm going to do things the right way. But what I was trying to say earlier is that there are no guarantees. It doesn't matter if you marry somebody. It's no guarantee that they're not going to cheat, that they're not going to leave. So if you do want to get married, if you're single, and that's something that you hold as an ideal, and you think that maybe you're living with someone and you think that it's inferior to marriage, that's fine. If you have a certain moral framework where that is the way that you think it should be done, I'm not I respect other people's opinions. What I don't like is when people do things to try to prevent abandonment and, you know, being surprised, taken by surprise by somebody else's leaving. In other words, trying to make sure that everything is safe, because that's fear-based. But if you're doing it because you have certain religious beliefs that mean that you're supposed to dedicate yourself to a person and it's for life, and you really believe that even if you change as individuals, that you can still remain married no matter what, I'm not going to try to talk anybody out of that. I think, you know, I can appreciate that. And so these may be things that you're grappling with on some level. Here's the other thing, though. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're getting along and you feel like, for whatever reason, and the Tower card, again, I think it might be feeling insecure for some reason, and you think that in order to have a good life, you have to like the Three of Pentacles could be like, you know, it's the Architect's card. So it might be that you feel that that is the only way to have a solid relationship. It's through marriage. That's fine. But if the other person is dragging their feet and the relationship is good, are you willing to leave that relationship simply because you have a difference of opinion or it makes you nervous? That's something to consider as well. What is coming in is represented by the Death card, and this is a transformation, transition of some sort. It's also connected to Scorpio. So if there's a Scorpio person in your life, maybe this is somebody who, the Hierophant, maybe this is that person, and that this card was simply suggesting that you were looking for a more of a foundation. But with the Death card, in some cases, you may have to like let go of something that you want. A dream may die. Maybe you were hoping that you could get married to someone and they simply don't want to. But you know, if the relationship's okay, as I said before, I don't see why that has to be a deal breaker. Sometimes I think that people, their ego gets involved, where they think, oh, I'm not good enough for you to marry me, and it's like marriage is seen as this major sacrifice, but it's worth it if, you know, the other person is willing to sacrifice. Now, the Death card can mean the end of a relationship in some cases, because perhaps it's a deal breaker for you. Perhaps it's not okay for you that you should, the two of you should part ways. I mean, maybe you have to part ways because you want this thing. And again, I mean, if this is a unplanned pregnancy, you may decide that it's better to, you know, kind of sever ties and still co-parent, because you know that you're not cut out to be together as a couple, and that you just have to kind of like cut it off totally on the romantic level, because it's confusing. It's, you know, it's kind of like confusing things, and you realize that you have almost like a more important job together, and that's to provide a healthy life for a child. It could be one of those situations. And the outcome is a very hopeful card, the Star card, where you feel this sense of renewed faith and healing. And so it makes me wonder, in a sense, if perhaps the Tower card is relating to this relationship. Maybe somebody cheated on you, and you and then proposed to you because they felt like, you know, that's something that was the answer to, they didn't want to lose you, maybe, so they decided to pop the question. But perhaps you knew that that wasn't the right person for you. If you're single, you may just have to let go of certain preconceived notions about, you know, what it is that is important in your romantic life altogether. And maybe you realize that you are going to get over something, because it's possible that you have been struggling with a past betrayal, and you're able to see the light now and see that there's someone out there who cares for you. Maybe this person happens to be a Scorpio, and maybe that's the right person for you. Okay, well, I mean, I think that obviously this is a general reading, so I can't guarantee that you're all going to have very eventful end of January situations happening, but just be on the lookout for maybe major shifts. And I hope you enjoyed this, Virgo. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Have a great rest of January. Bye.